phones. You're not selling anything.
The Fed's not done, and I'm going to tell you why.
Welcome back to Sean's show, everyone. It's episode 45, doing a solo one today. I hope you're having a good week. Lots of news, lots of great news. Every time I open Wall Street Journal, there's something new about Elon Musk, and usually it's a good thing. Usually it's that Elon Musk has landed a rocket and everyone's happy, or like he's like turned on Starlink satellites and they're over Venezuela, and he's, giving the Venezuelans access to the internet so they can watch hentai, and like that's a really exciting thing, I guess. But this week it's bad news for him, which is good news for us at Sean's show, because we hate that fucking guy. He is a sex guy. We all suspected it, and now it's been confirmed that Elon Musk is a sex guy. And this is an exciting development for me because I've been a day one hater, arguably a day zero hater. I hated this guy before I was out of the womb. And it's a great day. I'm celebrating. I had a skip in my step on the way over to the studio because Elon, with the new knowledge that Elon Musk abused his power to sleep with women at SpaceX. You want to know how I know this is a confirmed story? Because in this damning report by the Wall Street Journal, over 3 unnamed sources claimed that it happened. And that's how I know it really happened. Whenever you have an article and 3 unnamed sources that wanted to remain anonymous said it happened, it's basically like being convicted by a jury of those crimes. It's almost, in today's society, that's basically the same thing. So no, obviously we're still, the jury is still out. We'll see if these actually lead to anything. I feel like every 3 months we get like a report about one of the major tech bosses being promiscuous or otherwise doing some sex act that is kind of out of left field and maybe might raise some eyebrows, and then we just kind of move on, because that's what we do now as a culture. We just move on. Trump is guilty. We just move on. There's really that's kind of what happens when you have a society where we are all just so addicted to screens all of the time. I'm helping with that, of course, by contributing to the media monolith. But we live in a society where everyone's addicted to screens and nothing really feels real anymore. So like Trump got convicted. Who gives a fuck? Elon Musk pulled his cock out on a private jet with one of his employees. Who cares? Who cares? No one cares. You want to know why? He's sending cars into space. The guy that sends cars into space gets a pass. That's what this is. No one's making noise about this. No one gives a shit. It's not like the story's going viral. No one fucking cares. Sure, 20,000 liberals in Brooklyn, not me. I'm not among those. They care, but the working world, they don't give a shit that Elon Musk pulled his dick out and said, if you have sex with me, I'll buy you a horse. That's in the article. We're going to go through the article. That was in the article. So no one really cares. And it's a victory for me that this article has come out about him, because again, I've applied for SpaceX and I was rejected, and I will always hold that grudge till the day I die. And so, but it's sort of a Pyrrhic victory, or however you say that word, an SAT word. It's a victory. It's bittersweet. It's a bittersweet victory because no one gives a shit about anything anymore. No one gives a shit about anything. It's just a swipe. We're just swiping. We're just swiping to our death. We're just swiping away to our death. Scrolling and swiping until we're dead. And so let's look into this. Excuse me, I had some an entire bag of candy before this because I'm depressed. Okay. Elon Musk's boundary blurring relationships with women at SpaceX. The billionaire founder had sex. This is Wall Street Journal. The billionaire founder had sex with an employee and a former intern and asked a woman at his company to have his babies. See, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking a woman to have your babies. Me personally, like if you have a company and you hire someone directly underneath you, then you ask that person, hey, I'd like to have your babies. I think that's fine. I think that's not creepy. I think that's should be allowed. I don't even think HR should be involved. He's a creep. We all know he's a fucking creep. Every eccentric billionaire is by definition a creep. And there's some pretty crazy shit in this article, guys. Here's an excerpt. I'm going to quote this word for word. This is fucking crazy. Here's one of the paragraphs. Ready? The woman who worked on a contract for SpaceX alleged in a 2018 mediation with the company that Musk showed her his erect penis and offered her a horse in return for sex acts as she gave him a massage during a flight, according to people familiar with the allegations. SpaceX cut her shifts back after she rejected his advances, she alleged. The company agreed to pay her $250,000. Now, obviously, my first reaction to this is, what kind of horse are we talking? Are we talking a purebred horse? Are we talking sort of like a used horse? Are we talking a horse that's race worthy? Because that changes everything. If I was the woman in that plane and Elon pulls his dick out and says, if you fuck me, I'll buy you a horse, I'm going to be like, what kind of horse? Are we talking race worthy? Are we talking competitive? Or are we talking a donkey? Because that's going to make a big difference in my decision to have sex with you. So she got 250 grand out of it. So money means nothing to this guy. Elon, the company, but Elon basically agreed to pay her 250 grand after one of these debacles. So it's like, it's a pattern of behavior. And again, I'm just reading off the article. I don't know. I could speculate. I'm not trying to defame this fucker, but I don't know. It's they and you know, the SpaceX reacts with a strong defense, as you have to do. So one of SpaceX's chief operating officer, Gwynne Shotwell, which is a pretty good name for someone that everyone on SpaceX's leadership board is named like Rocket Johnny. Isn't that weird? Like everyone that ends up, like, I don't know, like like in the aerospace industry, there are some people that like are so like, you can tell the people that are really passionate about aerospace engineering and like rocket ships, because they've literally like abandoned their government birth names and they've gone with like their own, like they've like renamed themselves, like rappers rename themselves. Like it's like they have a stage name. Gwynne Shotwell. That sounds like a you sound like you're from Buzz Lightyear. Gwynne Shotwell, COO of SpaceX. A lot of these they rename themselves like Jet Fuel Johnny. You know, it's like, you're an adult. Can you calm down? You're a fucking adult, you know? So they clap back, right? They go, the untruths, mischaracterizations, and revisionist history in your email paint a completely misleading narrative. I continue to be amazed by what this extraordinary group of people are achieving every day, even amidst all the forces acting against us. And Elon is one of the best humans I know. Wow. Really, you're really going to bat for this guy, Gwynne. I wonder how other women feel about you defending a guy who pulls his dick out and trades horses for sex. As a man, I don't really care. If I was a woman though, I'd be like, bitch, what the fuck? Throwing us under the bus like this? So we'll see. I mean, this is a very long article. And I read the whole thing. I blew a load to this article. I jacked off to this article. That's how excited I was about this article. So he's the leadership at the company, they defend him. And there's really not, but again, all of the accusations are anonymous. And so when you can't put a name and a face behind the accusation, the accusation loses a lot of weight. It just does. People don't, again, guys like me, I'll jump on it too because I fucking hate the guy. But like, if we're being objective about it, it's really, it's hard to it's hard for, and imagine the DOJ, anyone actually, like, we're talking about legal consequences. It's really hard to get, and also he's Elon Musk. You can't touch the guy. He's untouchable. He's above the law. And so when I see articles like this, where it's women accusing Elon Musk of sexual misconduct, whatever you want to call it, sexual harassment. Yeah, it warms my heart that the guy is being messed with, but he's literally above the law. You can't touch him. Elon Musk is basically a country. This guy is a country. He's deploying Starlink in countries and disrupting the governments of those countries. I mean, the man owns satellites. If you own a satellite, like, I don't know what to say. If you personally own a web of microsatellites and you could deploy those satellites to go deliver internet to third world countries, I think you can beat a sexual harassment charge, which is sad. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not saying that's the way it should be, but it's sad. And that's the way it goes. So he's been paying off these women. But again, I gotta imagine that it must be exciting to be in that guy's circle. And you know, we see this in Hollywood, we see this in finance, we see this in politics. So why wouldn't we see it in tech? Where these powerful men, it's the Me Too movement, you know, these powerful men have access, can give you access, and kind of they're kingmakers. They can give you real opportunity, and it's at a cost. And it's really, really a shame when you are an aspiring, you know, this is kind of hard for me to talk about because I was rejected from SpaceX. You know, all these women talk about how they worked at SpaceX and they were sexually harassed by Elon Musk and had these relationships with him, and it soured their career and their job prospects at the company, career growth at the company. And on the one hand, I feel sorry for them. And on the other hand, I didn't even make it past round 1 of the interviews. So where's my paycheck? Where's my stock? Where's my gag? Where's my NDA? I didn't make it past round 1 at SpaceX. Do you think you think I wouldn't have killed for the privilege of sucking that man's dick to get a job there? That's a privilege. And for you to complain about that is absolutely reprehensible. If I was on that plane with Elon Musk and he pulled out his erect, probably circumcised penis, let's be honest, and he said, "Would you like to suck my dick for a horse?" I would have said, absolutely. Okay, we're moving on. That was a little bit too much for that story. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. We'll see where it goes. Let me know in the comments. Do you like SpaceX? Do you not? Do you like this guy? Do you not? It's and you got to wonder, like, do the journalists have motives? Do the journalists have an incentive to go after this guy? Are they being funded? You know, again, like, these are things that Elon Musk would say. Damage the credibility of his opponents by saying that they're being bought out they're being paid for and funded by his competitors, blah, blah, blah. which is all maneuvering. But like, you know, there are some texts, there are some text messages in this story that are like, that do prove, again, I don't know if these text messages even happened. No one knows what's real anymore. But if assuming these text messages happened, he is a proven liar. He's a liar. Let me look up this message for you guys. He goes, so check this out. This is another encounter he had with a woman at SpaceX. So he goes, leading up to the invitation, Musk and the woman had become close professionally. They sat within view of each other in the office and were in frequent contact on work matters. She often put in 17-hour days to keep pace with Musk, helping out with matters at Tesla and Musk's personal life, in addition to her primary duties at SpaceX. Her friends and family noticed she'd lost an unhealthy amount of weight, and her hair was falling out as she worked long hours, and friction with Shotwell, who's the COO, continued. Musk's invitation came as a surprise to the woman that she told Teller about it at the office, according to people familiar with the matter. I don't know who this Teller person is. When she arrived at Musk's house that night with her computer and work bag, they went into his living room. She gave this account to friends in the following days. She and Musk drank and chatted. Musk told the woman she had both beauty and brains and continued to compliment her. Ew. They had sex and spent much of the rest of the night talking. They saw each other again at his house in mid-December 2014 after Musk's children were put to bed. Gross. This guy's a fucking loser, according to text messages the woman shared with a friend at the time. She said she didn't want to cancel. In bed the next morning, Musk promised the woman Tesla stock for unpaid work she'd done for him at the car maker, and in his personal life, she told a person close to her. Musk told the woman that if the relationship ever became public, they'd have to say it started after she left the company. So he's basically saying, and then he's saying, Musk granted her, he's saying, telling her to delete emails, anything you don't want them to see ahead of time, including from sent folders and trash. So she's texting, Elon is texting this woman that he's sleeping with and saying, I don't want anyone to know about our relationship. Make sure you delete all the emails that could be used as evidence to prove that we're in a relationship. So the guy is a liar and he's a sex pest. But he goes around and he gets interviewed and everyone loves him. And it's a tragedy. People love the cars. People think he's a hero. And I will continue to go to bat for the other side. I'm anti-Elon. He's harassed, you know, and you might be like, well, Sean, you just hate him because he gets a lot of pussy. Yeah, so that's a good reason to hate someone. No, I'm kidding. All right, that's enough of that story. But we're gonna keep following. It could get worse. You never know. These men, they can't help themselves. These men in power, they're bored. They've all they do is work, and that loneliness explodes in ways that end up destroying them in a lot of cases, where they abuse their power, they get a massive fucking ego, and they start to think that they're God and that they deserve things. And they deserve to be treated a certain way because of their position. And it's sick, you know, and they see the world as a game. And it's really sick. And, you know, I can only hope to one day be in a position of power like that, so I can do the same. Kidding. We'll move on. Apple is back. Apple, if you're following tech lately, Apple actually, for a very, very, very brief moment, was less valuable than NVIDIA, which is the AI GPU company. And it's crazy. It's crazy. And I've always, you know, look, I have a MacBook. I've got Apple products. I do have Apple products. I don't like Apple. I think that as much as Steve Jobs was a psychopath at least he was an innovator. Right? As much as Steve Jobs was a slave driver of young Chinese kids flying over to Shenzhen and whipping Chinese kids to make the iPhones faster, he was a visionary. He was a man of great stature and power and energy, and he was a man of violence and anger and stupidity. Did you guys know this about Steve Jobs? Steve, again, I grew up in the Silicon Valley. I know a lot about Apple. I have had friends and colleagues that have worked there. And Steve Jobs, and this is on his Wikipedia, you can look this up. Steve Jobs, another Elon Musk type guy. Look this up on his Wikipedia. Look, this will blow your mind. Go on Steve Jobs Wikipedia and Control F, Control Find, and type in the word cancer. And I want you to read the section about Steve Jobs' cancer diagnosis, because it's really baffling. And I always use this anytime someone says Steve Jobs is a genius. All you do, tell them this story, and there's no refuting it. He was not a genius. He was into psychics and astrology, and it's crazy. And let me just do a quick detour here in case you don't know this. This is unbelievable. I'll do it right now, and I'll show you guys. Some of this, people only remember him for all the stuff that all the technology he designed. Let's not forget this. Let's not forget what he did when he was diagnosed with cancer. So let me go through this. Steve Jobs in 2003 was diagnosed with cancer. In mid-2004, he announced to his employees that he had a cancerous tumor in his pancreas. The prognosis for pancreatic cancer is usually very poor. Jobs stated that he had a rare, much less aggressive type known as islet cell neuroendocrine tumor. Don't know what that means, but he had a specific rare type of pancreatic cancer that was not as bad as the normal versions. And so let's keep reading. And this is for anyone that thinks Steve Jobs is a genius. Let me just read you what happens next. Jobs resisted his doctor's recommendations for medical intervention for 9 months in favor of alternative medicine. This is the man that purportedly designed the iPhone, designed the iPad. This is a man that was all about technology and science. And he rejected the science of medicine in favor of witchcraft. Steve Jobs tried to cure his cancer with witchcraft and orange juice and tea leaves. It's fucking crazy. I mean, here's a quote. Here's a quote from one of the doctors that helped cure him. Ready? Here's a quote. Quote, Jobs' faith in alternative medicine likely cost him his life. He had the only it's kind of funny. Jobs' faith in alternative medicine likely cost him his life. He had the only kind of pancreatic cancer that is treatable and curable. He essentially committed suicide. For 9 months, he refused to undergo surgery for his pancreatic cancer, a decision he later regretted as his health declined. No fucking shit, retard. You literally, look at this. Instead, he tried a vegan diet, acupuncture, herbal remedies, and other treatments he found online, and he even consulted a psychic. He's a fucking idiot. Anyone that looks up to this guy as a visionary entrepreneur, you're a dumbass, and you need to think twice. He also did juice fast, bowel cleansing, and then he finally did a surgery when it was too late. And then his cancer returns, and then he dies. So for everything the guy was, he was a dumbass. and a charlatan and a fraud and a snake oil salesman, as all billionaires are, as all visionary entrepreneurs are. And do I respect it? Of course I do. The only way to build the products that we have today is to be a delusional liar. You have to be a delusional psychopath liar to create an iPhone, to create a Tesla, because people are drawn to that. People are drawn to delusional liars. That's why my show is so successful. People are drawn to people like that with a vision, because people want to believe. They want to believe in time travel and teleportation. They want to believe that these things can be smashed into existence if we just try hard enough. And the whole idea is we won't get that, but we'll get a subscription to a VR goggle headset where you can pretend to travel back in time. That's kind of the way capitalism works. But my whole point with that Steve Jobs story was Steve Jobs dies, Tim Cook takes over. And when Tim Cook takes over, he is the classic political CEO, not a wartime CEO, drives all the businesses into the ground and basically ruins. And don't get me wrong, Apple's growing. It's one of the most valuable companies in the world, if not the most valuable. However, name one product out of Apple that's actually been exciting in the last decade. We're on the 15th fucking iPhone. OS Sequoia. They're going to run out of natural parks to name the operating systems after. OS Sequoia, OS Yosemite. There's not that many national parks. They're going to run out. And then what? And don't give me shit about the AirPods. The AirPods is not an innovative product. It's not. Who gives a fuck about? And I have the Bose right here. They're much better. They're $400, but they're much better. The reason I'm so passionate about this is because me, the consumers, have been robbed of 10 years of consumer innovation. We should have already had AR glasses. We should all be watching hentai while we talk to each other. Tim Cook robbed you and I of the ability to have AR glasses so we can talk to each other and watch tentacle porn at the same time, because Tim Cook is not a visionary CEO entrepreneur. He is a political peacetime CEO who happens to be a bitch. And what you get is a company that focuses on margins. You get a company that focuses on creating a healthy balance sheet. You don't even have to know what any of those words mean, but just know Tim Cook doesn't focus on piercing through the naysayers and the doubters and giving us Apple goggles, giving us a fucking car. That's what we were robbed of. And so that is the prelude to the AI conference that they just did. So I don't know if you saw this. Apple every year has the worldwide WWDC, the Worldwide Developers Conference, excuse me. And they're very late to the game. They're very late to the game on AI. They're very late to the game. If you follow this shit at all on Twitter, there are, and again, this is kind of typical because Apple is a company that's been around for a long time. And so they're not going to be a first mover on AI. But on the flip side, they're moving so late that it's almost a nothing burger at this point, because they can't react fast enough because there's too many cooks in the kitchen. That's what you get when you have a company that's that big. But Wall Street loves it. Wall Street loves it. I think Apple stock went up after this conference. So people like it, but it's just Tim Cook talking about generative AI and large language models, LLMs, blah, 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 partnerships, collaborations. I'm gay. He's a gay guy. He's like, did you know I'm gay? Also, AI is here for Apple. So I don't know. It's people are reacting pretty positively to the story, I want to touch on a handful of things that I thought were interesting from WWDC. So here's some bullet points. So Apple fully embraced artificial intelligence on Monday as company executives explained the features and reasoning behind Apple Intelligence, the company's new AI software suite. We think AI's role is to not replace our users, but to empower them. Oh, that's nice that you had to clarify that, Craig. Here's what one of the guys from Apple said. An Apple executive said this at the recent conference. He goes, we think AI's role is not to replace our users, but to empower them. Yeah, I would hope so, Craig. I would hope so. Were you guys talking about the opposite case where we're being replaced by AI? Because that's the fear. A lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared that they're going to lose their job to AI. You are. You should have learned to code. People are worried about losing their job to AI. Learn to code. We told you to learn to code and you didn't. You got high on meth and drove a truck. And now you have consequences. Now you have consequences. Because driving a truck is, it's easy. I have relationships with other truckers. They're all getting replaced too, buddy. Sorry. So let's dive into this. Apple's AI may be the first that its over 2 billion users interact with. If its AI features are favored over cloud-based competition from Microsoft or Google, it could change how billions of dollars in AI infrastructure per year is built. So there's lots of new features with AI that are coming out. I don't know. I mean, it's a partnership. So here's and actually Elon Musk is related to this story, which I'll get into. But let's read this. If the AI, so there's an AI chip on the actual phone, which is kind of cool. And then if the question is too complicated, they'll outsource it to OpenAI. So for example, look at this. Apple partnered with OpenAI, for example, to give users access to ChatGPT if Siri can't provide an answer. These features come into play only if users allow it. And they're packaging it as Apple Intelligence. There's no intelligence happening at Apple. You guys didn't buy a car. You're not making a car. You're not making Apple Intelligence. Your last CEO died of pancreatic cancer because he thought he could cure his tumor with a juice cleanse and going vegan. I don't trust anything coming out of your company. Apple has come out with this new thing called Apple Intelligence, which is supposed to be a rebrand of artificial intelligence. There's no intelligence at Apple, and let me tell you why. Steve Jobs had pancreatic cancer, and instead of getting surgery to remove the tumor, he saw a psychic that told him that cancer was a mindset. So forgive me if I don't assume that you guys have it all taken care of over there with Apple Intelligence. And they're partnering with OpenAI. And if you've used OpenAI, if you've used ChatGPT, it doesn't work very well. There's a lot of mistakes. It's not where it needs to be. And I'm very concerned. Here's a slide that I want to read about security. 3 check marks. Your data is never stored. Used only for your requests. Verifiable privacy promise. It's a lie. If you outsource to ChatGPT and OpenAI, they're selling it to fucking China. I'm sorry. And that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But it's an interesting development. A lot of the large companies are now building AI products, and that's cool. I don't know. Again, I'm not that excited about it. Maybe it's not even it's just the hype. Again, it's when you really hate something, you don't really like a lot of the times when I think that I hate something, I don't really hate that thing. I hate the people that adore that thing or person. Right? I don't hate Marvel Cinematic Universe. I hate the fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it makes me so angry that you could be so fucking stupid to enjoy that trash. I have no problem with the trash existing. Imagine you're walking down the street and you see a bag of trash, as I do often in New York City. I don't hate a bag of trash for existing. That's just what happens in society. But if there were a bunch of people cheering on the trash, like, yeah, woo, I'm going to get mad at those people. I'm going to be a little angry or at least confused that those people are cheering on an objectively bad, smelly bag of shit that deserves to be thrown in a landfill and forgotten about. I'm going to get mad at those people. And so I feel the same way about AI. I'm again, grew up in Silicon Valley. I follow a lot of AI chatter on the internet and on Twitter. And the excitement around it is just disgusting. The excitement and the hype. And my problem is the lies. There's so many lies that come with the hype of artificial intelligence. There's so many lies around what this is going to do for the future and what it's going to enable. Is it going to change the world in dramatic ways? Of course it will. And eventually, will we get to a place where AI is central to a lot of what we do? Probably. But to couple the excitement to the excitement around AI, it's being conflated into this like almost like humanistic mission. Fuck you. If like I see so many people on LinkedIn and Twitter talking about how like they're on a mission to advance AI for humanity's benefit. Fuck you. You want to be rich and be honest. Just be honest about it. You don't want to advance AI for humanity's sake. You want a Ferrari and a house in Bel Air, and that's okay. I do too. I want a house in Bel Air, but I'm not going to lie about advancing AI for the benefit of humanity. You like stock options and you like bad bitches and you like popping bottles at the club, and that's okay. But just stop pretending to be a fucking messiah. You're like you're part of this, you know, like we saw the AI safety board. Let me look up the AI like all these people involved in the AI community. They say that they are like advancing AI for humanity's benefit. Let me go ahead and read to you the board on OpenAI's safety team. Ready? I'm going to read to you the people that are on the AI board of safety board. And you tell me if you trust these people. So let me just back up. There are many people in the AI community that say that they're involved with AI because they're passionate about making a safe AI for humanity's benefit. Okay. Now let me read to you the people on the AI safety board. And you tell me if you trust even one of these people. Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO. Do you trust him? Ed Bastian, CEO of Delta Airlines. I don't trust that guy as far as I can throw him. I would throw him off a Delta plane, after I'm in fucking coach. Mark Benioff, CEO of Salesforce. Don't trust him. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, great. Vicky Holub, CEO of Occidental Petroleum. They got a fucking petroleum bitch on the AI safety board. So how is AI going to be safe if there's an oil executive on the board? You tell me. Satya Nadella, CEO of Microsoft. I mean, the list goes on. I don't trust any of these motherfuckers for a moment that they would make a safe AI that they're going to put safety before profit. They're not. When in history has a CEO put safety before profit? Not one goddamn time. So you can't tell me that you're involved with AI because you care about AI safety. And also, what is AI safety? Let's think about it. They jam these terms down our throats. They make up buzzwords and then they own our mind share. I'm like a McKinsey consultant. They make up terms and they own our mind share by injecting these terms into the culture. Artificial intelligence safety. There's nothing safe about AI. Did you see that Waymo car, that Uber, that autonomous Waymo car that ran over that bitch and she died? It's going to kill people. AI is already being used probably in the military to kill people overseas. So why would I expect? Isn't there some bitch from Lockheed Martin or Northrop Grumman? Yeah. You know who else is on the AI safety board? Kathy Warden, CEO of Northrop Grumman. Her last name is Warden, like a prison warden. You trust that bitch? I don't. No fucking way. So my point is that Apple is integrating OpenAI into their products now. And so you can't tell me that there's any sort of safety or trust or privacy and all this bullshit that you're trying to sell to consumers. Just save it. Just be on. Can't we just get corporations to be honest about what they're doing? I really wouldn't mind ChatGPT if it was just honest and it was like, hey, every time you send something, upload a photo, send us something, a chat to process. We're selling it to China, and it will be used eventually to prosecute you in a criminal court and execute you. I would like it if they just said that to me. Like, I would like it if ChatGPT and OpenAI were honest, and instead of saying, like, your request is not seen by anyone, I would like it if they just said, hey, look, hey, just be careful, because depending on what you upload and what types of questions you ask us, you may be on a list. And that list may get sent to China. And when China and the US go to war and China wins, we may look up that question that you asked 20 years ago, and we may use it to put you in jail. If they just said that, I'd be like, okay, great. Maybe I'll be a little careful with what I ask. But no, they have to lie. And I don't like the lies. Let's move on. Let's move on to something outside of tech. America is running low on Zyn. Do you Zyn? I like to Zyn. No, I don't. I've never Zynned. Lord, I have never Zynned. Lord forgive me for I've Zynned. I think I stole that. That's probably been made already. Why America is running low on Zyn nicotine pouches. So I don't know. I'm not a big Zyn guy. I know a lot of guys that look like me love to Zyn. I'm not a Zyn guy. It's a replacement, I guess, it's a replacement for nicotine patches and dipping. And it's really gaining a lot of popularity. And so this is an article from the Journal about the manufacturer, Philip Morris, who is a tobacco conglomerate, is basically, can't fill orders as fast as they're coming in. So there's a capacity problem. And so I thought this was interesting because there's a whole new wave of influencers that are called Zinfluencers. And I've actually applied to be a Zinfluencer and I was rejected. They said I did. It was very sad. There's a whole new cast of characters out there. There's a whole new wave of influencers. They're called Zinfluencers. I applied and I was, guys, I was rejected because they said I didn't get enough pussy and that I couldn't make the sound fast enough with my hand. I can't do it. I can't do it. They said I couldn't do it. And I was really sad. I felt like I could make the sound good enough. The where you slap, you guys know, you flick your hand. I feel like that's good enough, but they rejected me. So now Zyn, you're on my I'm at war with you. The pouches, an alternative to cigarettes, look like little tea bags and come in flavors such as mint, cinnamon, coffee, and citrus. They tuck discreetly into the cheek and don't require users to spit. The pouches are comparable in risk to pharmaceutical products such as nicotine gums or patches, public health experts say. So there's a huge capacity problem. I mean, they're blowing up. The Zyn is the hot product of the day, you know, and like every product, we'll forget about it a few years from now. But I just want, let's look at the type of people that are being affected by the Zyn shortage. It's very sad. There's a shortage of Zyn right now, and a lot of people are being affected. And I want to talk about the good people that are being affected deeply by this Zyn shortage. So let's take a look. Haley Richards, a 29-year-old insurance adjuster in Boston, learned of the shortage last week when the place where she usually buys Zyn was sold out. She couldn't find any while visiting family in Rhode Island either. Here's a quote from her. I went to 3 stores, she said. Then I just kind of gave up. Hey, Haley, if you're going to 3 stores to find Zyn, just smoke a fucking cigarette. Just smoke a cigarette. Can you just do that? If you're driving to 3 stores to find Zyn, you're an addict. Then it's not a safe alternative. You're going to drive, look, and so I drive 3 stores to find my favorite brand of LaCroix, and I am an addict. But that's sparkling water. You're talking about nicotine. It's an interesting culture. You know, boomer dads, they left the home to go get cigarettes and they never came back. Zoomer dads, they'll go get Zyn and never come back. That's kind of the way I see it. And that's the circle of life. Richards, who started using Zyn about 3 years ago when she gave up vaping. Okay, so it's like you were vaping, and here's the perniciousness and the evil of these tobacco companies. And don't get me wrong, guys, I am a libertarian. I happen to believe that you should just be able to go to the store and buy fentanyl. I really want to live in I'm like not even ironic right now. I think we should live in a world where you can go to 7-Eleven and you should be able to buy cherry soda with fentanyl, but not like a fatal, lethal dose of fentanyl. I'm talking about like a nice, small, tiny amount of fentanyl that makes you feel good. Like the reason that fentanyl is criminalized, it's not because it's like any more addictive than legal products. Alcohol is a viciously addictive drug, and you can buy it on any street corner in America at any time, 24/7. But you're telling me that fentanyl, people are going to die, overdose on fentanyl? And yeah, will they overdose? Yeah, but people overdose on alcohol all the time. People destroy their lives with alcohol every day they're doing it, and we have not criminalized it. You want to know why fentanyl is illegal? Fentanyl is illegal because the pharmaceutical companies don't want more competition. They don't want guys like me to be able to start up a fentanyl manufacturing company where I make fentanyl flavored ginger ale. I'm not even kidding. I'm like, maybe I'm fucking crazy, but that's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of clean fentanyl being sold to you. They're afraid of capitalism. Ironically, they're afraid of innovation. They're afraid of it. And so, but anyway, I digress. My point is, and you can disagree with me on that. I totally get it if you don't feel the same way. But so this woman, she goes, she couldn't find any while visiting family in Rhode Island either. So Rachel, or Haley, whatever the fuck your name is. Haley, you're visiting family in Rhode Island and you have to pop out to the store to go get a Zyn. You're a fucking loser. You're going to go pop out to the store and get some Zyn. How about you enjoy your family? Do you really need nicotine? Do you really need that much nicotine to enjoy your family in Rhode Island? I would too. I'll be honest. If I was going to Rhode Island for any reason, I would need a lot of Zyn. I would need heroin to go through that. So Richards, Haley, who started using Zyn about 3 years ago when she gave up vaping, managed to find 15 pouches by searching her car and home for forgotten cans. This is the behavior of a crack addict. This is pathetic. Haley, you're behaving like a crack addict. You're like, this is like the equivalent of searching the carpet for like cocaine, like crack rocks. She placed an order. This makes Hunter Biden look like a gentleman. Like Haley, You're searching your car for empty. You're searching your car and your home for like losses in packets. You make Hunter Biden look like a president, not Joe Biden, but a good president. You make Hunter Biden look like fucking JFK. Because many Zyn users are addicted to nicotine and consume pouches daily, they can't wait for Zyn to return to store shelves. Competing brands have picked up market share while Zyn's has fallen. Zyn accounted for 25% of U.S. smokeless tobacco sales in the 2 weeks ended June 1st, up from 26.8% in April. So they're growing fast. But it's just pathetic. It's pathetic to be that addicted to nicotine. How like and again, I forgot. My overall point was this. First there were cigarettes and they killed people. Then there was vaping and they sold vaping to the public as this way to get off of cigarettes. It's a safer alternative to cigarettes. And now they're selling you Zyn as a safe alternative to vaping. This woman, she said, I quit vaping and I switched to Zyn. All you're doing is you're exchanging lung cancer for mouth cancer. I don't know what to tell you, Haley. Sounds like you know what you should do? You should exchange some Zyn for some common sense and some discipline. That's what you should do. So again, I know a lot of my listeners are homeless and they're on Zyn right now and they're Zinning right now. It's fine. I'm not against you. I'm just saying that you might regret it in 20 years. That's all I'm saying. Same with Ozempic. And I'm not above everyone just because I don't drink and I don't drink coffee or booze. Like, I don't do drugs and I'm sober. Like, I'm not better than you just because I'm sober and I don't drink coffee and I work out every day and I eat pretty well and I meditate and I have a positive outlook on life. And I'm not like, that doesn't make me better than you just because I like do all of these things that are helping to improve my life. That doesn't make me better than you. What makes me better than you is that I don't use Zyn. Because it's the most embarrassing thing you can do right now. If you Zyn now, if you're Zinning right now in 2024, you would have been a Nazi in the Holocaust. You're a follower. You would have just done what you're told in the Holocaust. Is that crazy? Is that crazy to say? If you use Zyn right now, then you probably also think it was good that we nuked Japan twice. If that's the biggest red flag. The biggest red flag for me that a person is not thinking critically is that they love Zyn. Because if you love Zyn, you don't think critically, you're a sheep and you're a follower. I'm sorry, you are. And you just do what you're told. You do what you're told. You're told things like it was good that we nuked Japan because if we didn't nuke Japan, the war would have never ended. More people would have died. If you believe that shit, if you Zyn, maybe you believe it because you actually believe it and you're racist and you're crazy. But if you believe shit like that and you don't think for yourself. Here's another guy. Patterson, 27, said he uses the pouches to focus when he is golfing or filling out spreadsheets. He said he has tried 2 rival brands, but he didn't like them. They didn't feel very good in my mouth, he said. Oh yeah, Patterson, it's going to feel good in your mouth? My dick. I'm a stronger man than you. I have more discipline. I don't Zyn. How about pop a few Zyn in your mouth before I jam my dick down your throat? All right. I'm just saying. It's the sign of a weak man. What else? A lot of shit in the news. Oh, yeah, we got to cover this. Hunter Biden is guilty of 3 felony charges related to the purchase of a revolver in 2018 when prosecutors argued the president's son lied on a mandatory gun purchase form by saying he was not illegally using or addicted to drugs. So, like, this is the Democrat version of Trump getting convicted with a slight twist because it's not the president. It's not a president. It's the president's son. But they're trying. They're really going after each other. These political families are very vicious, and they're going after each other. They're at war, and I'm sure it's very fun for them to go to war with each other and be in the public eye. I'm sure it's very exciting for them. But who gets hurt in the process? We do. We do. Because I'm hurt because I love Hunter Biden, and I know that he can be a guy that accepts his brother's death and moves on. But he just can't seem to stop smoking crack and fucking whores. And that's very sad. There is a paragraph I want to read from this article that's crazy. Hunter Biden lives a crazy life. I believe there was a there's a let me find it for you guys. So the jury had to watch like videos. Here we go. So Hunter Biden was convicted of some sort of gun-related felony. So here we go. Pictures of President Joe Biden's son with drug paraphernalia and bare-chested in a bubble bath. Text messages between Hunter Biden and drug dealers. Testimony from Hunter's exes about relationships destroyed by his drug use. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, the guy is addicted to crack. That's hilarious. And this is my whole point. If fentanyl was legal and cocaine was legal, Hunter Biden, well, he'd probably still be addicted because he's an addict. But my point is, it's better if people do the drug that's legalized and regulated than buy it on the street where idiots make it in a kitchen and fuck up the dosage amounts. That's my whole point. But anyway, a central piece of the prosecution's case is Hunter Biden's memoir, Beautiful Things, in which the president's son opened up about his crack cocaine addiction, stints in rehab, and struggles to get sober. How fucking stupid can you be, Hunter? You wrote a book. He wrote a memoir about his crack addiction. Then the prosecutors used it to convict him of multiple felonies. That's like if OJ wrote a book. Oh, wait, he did. No, but it wasn't you. That's like if OJ wrote a book and instead of it being called If I Did It, it was just called I Did It. Hunter Biden basically wrote I Did It. So he details his lifelong struggle with alcoholism and drug abuse in a new memoir, writing that in the last 5 years alone, my 2 decades long marriage has dissolved. Guns have been put in my face. And at one point, I dropped clean off the grid, living in a $59 a night Super 8 motels off I-95 while scaring my family even more than myself. I mean, if you're Hunter Biden and you're living in a $59 a night Super 8, that's by choice. No one in a political family is living in a Super 8 motel by choice. Like, that means you want to be in, because Hunter Biden could call his dad in a moment, be in a fucking Four Seasons hotel, but he chooses to be in the Super 8 because that's where his people are. Because you know what you can't do in a Four Seasons? Well, you probably can. You know what you shouldn't do in a Four Seasons? Smoke crack and fuck prostitutes. But I'm sure that's, Hunter, why can't you just go to a Four Seasons? Do you have to be in a Super 8? That's sad. Can't you at least smoke crack with other rich people? You have to smoke crack with poor people? I don't get it. He was born into so much privilege, and he chooses to hang out with like the lowest of the low, bottom of the barrel highway rats. Let's see. Drinking, he wrote, seemed to solve every unanswered question about why I felt the way I felt. It took away my inhibitions, my insecurities, and often my judgment. It made me feel complete, filling a hole I didn't even realize was there. Wow, this guy's fucked up. This guy's, it's sad. A feeling of loss and my sense not being understood or fitting in. You know, I'm an only child, but if my brother died, I don't think the next thing I would do is smoke crack cocaine. Maybe it's the 10th thing I would do. I don't know. I don't want to joke about that too much because it's very sad. But I don't think if my brother died, I would go buy crack. But he's kind of always been fucked up. At 18, Hunter Biden was busted for cocaine possession, but did a pretrial intervention with 6 months probation, and the arrest was removed from his record. That's why I don't feel bad for this guy. Hunter Biden was arrested for cocaine possession at 18 years old, and he got out with 6 months probation. If he was a black guy in Compton, he'd be in jail to this fucking day. That's why I have no sympathy for you, bro. That's why I can't have sympathy for you if you can just do drugs and get high and literally never go to jail because of who your dad is. This is hilarious. Jurors have heard Hunter Biden detail at length seeking out crack in different places and learning how to smoke it. In one long excerpt played in the courtroom, he described driving to a treatment center and seeing an enormous barn owl, which may have been a hallucination, swoop over his windshield. Yeah, I mean, this guy is like hallucinating. He's seeing owls fly past his windshield. I don't know. I've never smoked crack. I don't know if you see owls. Was it the Drake owl? Maybe it's a connection. Maybe he's a pedophile. That was for the Drake fans. In another excerpt played in the court, Hunter Biden described at one point accidentally leaving in a rental car his wallet, which contained his late brother's Delaware Attorney General badge and Secret Service business card. A rental employee found that along with paraphernalia and a white powder residue on the armrest. Interesting. So he was charged with some, again, it's like he was charged with these crimes. They're just, I want to be like, oh, well, this is the right going after Hunter Biden because the left is going after Trump. But I feel like Hunter's just actually fucking guilty. Trump may or may not be. I happen to think he probably is. Does that mean he shouldn't be the president? That's a totally different question for me. But is Hunter guilty of some gun stuff? Probably. He's got guns pointed in his face. Also, imagine you're a drug dealer pointing a gun in the president's son's face. That's got to be some power. You got to feel some real power. But there's really, I don't know. I don't want to like celebrate hate on the show too much because fuck it. Let's move on. I'm so bored of politics, guys. I don't know about you. I'm so fucking bored of just politics. I'm so tired of it. Just give me The Sopranos again. You know why like people are so invested in politics these days because we don't have any good TV. We need another Breaking Bad. We need another Breaking Bad. We need another Sopranos level show that reunites us as a country. That's why the country's fucking up. It's not the Fed. It's not inflation. It's not class warfare. It's not Israel. It's not the CIA. You know why we're failing as a country? It's because we don't have a good drama show with enriching characters, with rich drama and dialogue that unites us and reminds us what it means to be an American. That's why. So like, that's what we need. Call NBC, call someone, somebody call someone and let's get a fucking TV show that we can enjoy together again. Because right now, the only thing we're talking about is politics and Caitlin Clark and the WNBA. And I don't care. I might fucking run for president. If all we're going to talk about is politics and Caitlin Clark, I might have to go into politics because I'm going fucking crazy from boredom. I'm so bored. the US. So let's talk about Caitlin Clark. I don't know if I never cover sports on the show. This is a new for me. This is a new territory for me. So guys, if you don't like sports, I apologize. I have a feeling that many of my listeners are autistic. I have a feeling that many of them are very adverse to even talking about women at all because they've never seen one. So venturing into this area is I'm going to be a little delicate with it. But if you do follow sports, the WNBA has been in the news a lot because there's a new rookie in the WNBA, and her name is Caitlin Clark. And she is getting a lot of hate and getting a lot of coverage because she's very good. And a lot of prior WNBA players that have legacy WNBA players that have been in the game for a long time are jealous of Caitlin because they've been in the game making poverty wages, $30K. I don't know what they make, $60K a year. And Caitlin Clark comes in and gets all this attention and all this money. So during the games, they're elbowing her, they're blocking her out, they're not letting her pass or score. And so there's been a lot of drama. And it's you want to know how I know there's a lot of drama in the WNBA? I heard about it. You want to know how I know this Caitlin Clark story is a very big deal? Because the guy that guys that look like me heard about it. I never hear about sports. So when Caitlin Clark spills over to the point where I have to hear about it, this is a big fucking deal. So here's a recent story. So Caitlin was passed over for the USA basketball team for the Olympics, Team USA for the Olympics. And this has made a lot of people very angry because she's the young rookie that's shaking up the league and changing the game and blah, blah, blah. And the selection committee for the Olympic team said that Caitlin didn't have enough experience. Now, am I going to watch the women's basketball Olympics? No. I'm going to go watch paint dry. Thank you. I mean, I really just don't care. Everyone's talking about Caitlin Clark. I don't care. I barely care about men's basketball. You think I give a fuck about women's basketball? I don't know. Let's look up her earnings. That's what I want to know. I'm a guy that looks Jewish. I want to look up her earnings. I'm an Irish Catholic guy that looks Jewish. We're looking up her earnings. Caitlin will make about $76,000 during her first year in the WNBA. Caitlin signed a 4-year, $338,000 contract with Indiana Fever. It will pay These numbers are fucking crazy. These actually, now I am mad. Caitlin Clark will make $76,000 pre-tax during her first year in the WNBA. Caitlin signed a 4-year, $338,000 contract with the Indiana Fever, according to Spotrac. It's a stupid name for a sports analytics company. It will pay $776,500 this year and increase through 2027, maxing out at $97,500 in her 4th year. Caitlin Clark, you should learn to code. Those numbers are so low. You should learn to code because I'll tell you what, I can hook you up with a 6-figure job. How are they not even making 6 figures? So here's another website that says she makes that she made 3.1 million is her net worth. Here we go. Here's what I was looking for. The 22-year-old basketball phenomenon signed a contract with Nike that will pay her $28 million. There we go, over the next 8 years. That's some numbers to be angry about. I thought these bitches were angry about her making 98K a year. But isn't it pathetic that the league doesn't even pay them 6 figures and they have to rely on fucking Nike to like actually cash them out and pay them the money that they're worth? It's really unbelievable. I want to see her salary. Here's an article comparing her salary to other athletes. Let's see. I mean, I can't believe that her first season in the WNBA, she's getting paid $76,500 in salary. And again, I know she's getting a lot of very wealthy, lucrative sponsorships, but to get a salary of $76,500 is like mind-blowingly high. That's way too high. I'm joking, guys. I'm kidding. Even considering, it's a 5. I mean, it's crazy. It's crazy. The top pick in the NBA draft made $12.16 million during his first season. Victor Wembanyama. I mean, it's really hard to it's really hard to make sense of it. A lot of people have said that like she's getting these sponsorships, and that like a lot of people have said Caitlin Clark's getting all of this attention because she's a white woman. I've heard that take. And you know, maybe there's some truth to that. Maybe what the WNBA needed was a Taylor Swift. Maybe the WNBA needed like a Taylor Swift to appeal to white America. Like a preppy bitch, like a sassy preppy bitch with like a ponytail. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe that's what we, and again, I'm not trying to like discount her athleticism, because I'm sure she's very athletic. And I was about to say for a woman, but I won't, because it's 2024. Maybe this is good. I don't know. I mean, I think what gets lost in the conversation about Caitlin Clark is that, and all sports conversations, is that sports is theater, sports is politics, and sports is money. The games are rigged. They're kind of rigged. I think they're kind of rigged. You look at the calls that, I mean, we've all seen these videos on TikTok of like people, like NFL players catching the ball and not going out of bounds, but they get called out of bounds. I mean, we see it. And the only way to explain that is corruption. In baseball, we see the same thing in baseball, where baseball there's this conversation around like getting rid of umpires, where you throw the ball and instead of having a guy tell you whether it's a strike or a ball, a computer does it, because we have that ability now. And a lot of people are like, no, we like the ump. We like the ump being able to like dictate strike or ball, even though like it adds some freshness to the game. We want corruption. In sports, we want drama. That's what we need. Bread. Humans want bread and circus. And we want sports to be rigged. Deep down in our souls, we want sports to be poisoned by money and poisoned by ego. And we want that. Because sports is theater. Sports is theater for straight men. It really is. And I know I'm not one of those guys that's like, oh, how is the sports game? Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not like a cringe Reddit autistic guy. But let's just be objective about it. Sports is theater. It's fun. Sports is theater for guys that are insecure in their masculinity and can't go to a normal play or a normal production because that's fucking gay. That's how they think. So they have to go watch men attack each other. I'm sorry. I know this is like an old dry take, but it's fucking true. So like, do I wait? All this stuff about the wage gap, it's all noise. That's why I don't really cover sports. It's all noise. Sports is all noise. It's just, is it exciting? Yeah. Is it fun? Yeah. Am I going to be a dick at the If we watch a football game together, am I going to be a dick and ruin it? No, I'm not going to do that. But I will go home afterwards and think quietly about everyone else that was there, and I will judge them silently. But yeah, we really covered a lot of ground here. I'm going to finish up with something, guys. Oh, I finally got a question this week. If you didn't know, you can ask me a question on my Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Sean Show. For the love of fucking Christ, it would be nice if you guys asked some questions. I'll leave fucking. How about this? If you ask a question, I'll give you $10. I don't know if I can go. I'm going bankrupt with these kinds of prices, guys. If you ask me a question, I'll give you $10. I got a question this week from Will. Thank you, Will, for asking a question. I love you. It's so funny. I think I have like maybe like 4 or 5 people that are still listening right now, which is exciting. Like I think most what I try to do is I try to have the worst takes imaginable for an hour, and then I go into like stuff that's fun because I want to filter out everyone that hates that like can't get through that. Like if you can't survive an hour of what I just did, you don't deserve me talking about answering questions. Anyway, Will asks, my sister and I believe my brother might be autistic, but he doesn't own GameStop stock. Is it still possible? Also, it runs in the family because his son is undoubtedly autistic. Well, I just want to say, Will, congratulations on his son owning a lot of GameStop stock, because that is the test. So congratulations to his son. As far as your brother being autistic, he may secretly own GameStop stock. I might ask your brother, like, hey, my sister and I, we've been talking, man, and we're just wondering, like, do you have any like secret brokerage accounts that you haven't been telling us about? Do you know what it means to direct list your stock, or whatever the fuck they call it? Whatever it is. I would say that if you think he's autistic, but he doesn't own GameStop stock, there's only one possible outcome. He's hiding the GameStop stock from you, and you need to find it, because he is if he's showing signs, I would keep going down that path, Will. Because the last thing you want is to deny that he's autistic and have him have to live a life where he can't express his autism and be himself, because that'll eat you up inside. I speak from experience. So Will, I would say, I honestly, I would say, Will, that you need to sit your brother down with all his friends, all his family, and do like an intervention where you're like, hey man, like, I don't know what his name is, but I'd be like, hey man, like, I love you. You're my brother. I grew up with you. I grew up watching you play Minecraft 16 hours a day. You'll probably say something like that to him. I grew up watching you play Minecraft, and, you know, we all love and support you here. And we would just really like for you to admit to yourself that you have a little bit of autism. And he may cry, and he may thrash, and he may flip over some furniture, and that's okay. It's part of the process. And if he doesn't own GameStop stock, I would recommend buying a share and giving it to him to show him that you care as a brother. So that's what I would say, Will. Thanks for the question. Venmo, send me your Venmo handle. I think I've given you money. I'll pay you $10, whatever. And that's the only question I got today, guys. Thank you, Will. I hope you're doing well. One of my longtime listeners. I truly can't believe that like anyone listens to this. I really, really can't believe it. But if you like it, join the Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Sean Show. Literally, we're at 17 members. Once we get to 20, I'll kill myself live on the stream. How about that? No. I'll kill someone else live on the stream. Maybe at 20 Facebook. How about this? At 20 people in the Sean Show Facebook group, when we get to 20, I will I don't know. I'll reunite with my father, who I've abandoned long. No, I'm kidding. I don't know. I'll do something cool. Let me know what you think I should do at 20 followers, like a little follower goal celebration. Maybe I'll smoke crack. I could do drugs for you guys. I'll have a video where just for the Facebook group, where maybe I'll like literally smoke crack ironically. I'll do that for you guys. That's how much I love you. So we're gonna close it out with one more story, guys. So I haven't talked about this guy in a while, but remember how Argentina elected a libertarian and then people kind of forgot about it? Remember when Argentina elected a libertarian that wanted to tear away every single government agency and buy a bunch of Bitcoin and legalize all the drugs? Remember that? Javier Milei is making some progress, but he's trying to get a bill passed. So let's take a look at this. President Javier Milei is pushing to get his signature omnibus reform package across the finish line in the Argentine Senate in a debate that began Wednesday morning. So he's been trying to privatize pretty much everything in Argentina, and it's a very competitive bill. It's a very competitive. It may or may not pass. It's interesting. I don't know. Personally, I think the guy's a good personality. I mean, we'll see if any of this shit actually works, because I think no matter how you structure a government, there's always a government where poor people are getting fucked no matter what. But we'll see. The guy is passionate. I like Javier Milei's passion. And we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. I really don't know if his policies are working or not. But it's interesting to see. It's interesting to see what he's doing. Here's a quote: "Weeks of tense negotiations likely have the reform plan headed to approval in a general vote. The real challenge will follow when senators have to ratify each measure of the bill and its accompanying fiscal package in a chapter by chapter vote." I don't really know. I don't really know if Argentina is even a real democracy or if it's just a shadow democracy. Let's look up if Javier's policies are working. Apparently some people think it's working. I assume some people don't. But you really never know. Here's another take. In Argentina, Javier Milei's shock therapy is wreaking havoc. Oh, okay. So here's this he's like an anarcho-capitalist president. He's a libertarian. He's slashed public spending. And people are saying that it's not looking good. A lot of people don't like what's happening with the government. Honestly, I think this guy seems crazy to me. This guy, Javier Milei, seems like a guy who would get everyone to use Dogecoin, which maybe would be better. We don't really know. Here's a quote: "The government's rabid austerity is drawing criticism from many quarters. This government doesn't have an income policy. It is allowing the markets to set exchange rates and utility rates, but have frozen wage negotiations." I mean, look, no matter what you do, there's always going to be the haves and the have-nots. So again, would I like a guy like Javier Milei? Yeah, I happen to think that there is a lot of overspending in government. But again, this is just a guy that covets power like anyone else. Anyway, guys, I think yeah, that was all the news I wanted to get to. I hope you're having a good week. If you like the show and you're still listening, just follow the show on Spotify. That's all I ask. Just follow the show on Spotify. If you like the show, give us a review on Spotify. Subscribe on YouTube. The numbers help. If you can do a subscribe on YouTube and Spotify, I'll be forever grateful, because that's how you reach more people with this kind of shit. The internet is a fucking nightmare. It's ruined. It's destroyed the ability for artists to get any sort of attention. And guys, it's either this or I have to go down the other path in entertainment, which is to suck a lot of cocks And I really don't want to do that. I'm very scared of penis. So please just follow the show on Spotify. And join the Facebook group. Links in the description. Give me a comment. I got a comment on the last episode. That was cool. So thanks for the comment on the last episode. You know, hail GameStop, and you know, let's all just pray for Hunter Biden. And I'll leave you there. Bye guys. Thanks.